Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into our second play day of the weekend. This is our third weekend here at the D2L Season 4, brought to you by Kingston HyperX. Got a hell of a game on the way from two top contenders for our top slots. And, of course, with the playoffs approaching, we've passed the halfway point for play for the majority of these teams now. So a lot can go either way. But for TongFu in particular, this match has special importance. A little bit of history on these two teams. Invictus and TongFu have faced off 3 times in the last few months, dating back to their appearance at the International, the International 3, I should say, the International 2013, when they took each other on. TongFu got the best of them there, but since then they've met twice, and Invictus has blanked TongFu, winning 3 in a row and 2 in a row. So IG has, of late, absolutely had the number of TongFu. However, TongFu, a team that here in Season 4 play, they've already gotten a lot of their schedule under their belt. This is their 6th match out of 7. They currently sit in the top 4 position so far as our standings go. But the problem is a lot of teams like IG have simply played less matches but are right there on the bubble along with them. So for TongFu to really solidify their position as a front runner for the playoffs, they need to at least split their final two series, and taking on Invictus in this one, this is going to be a real test of what they're made of. Invictus Gaming, of course, has been showing us a lot over the last few days. We've seen them in action more than a couple of times. And really, anyone who doubted that Invictus would bounce back after they had their roster shifts, they've been pretty much fully answered. IG has absolutely looked phenomenal over the last couple of weekends, and they're going to look to continue to roll with that momentum here today. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, live on the floor of our beautiful downtown San Francisco studio, joined as always for the insight and analysis by Ben Merlini Wu. And I'll tell you what, Ben, it has been an absolute crazy weekend so far. You and I mean, we had a lot of jokes, a lot of laughs yesterday about Midases and all that, but already looking at the bans and the picks, I mean, it's just a volatile time for Dota. It's almost impossible to predict what teams are going to want to pick and ban early and how they're going to want to build their compositions.
Lich was first, now it's Pugna, and it's just all over the place. IG, I mean, the picks are pretty standard, though. Earthshaker, Luna, they're not weak picks by any means. They're not novel either. It's just strong standard. We know that Songcheng really likes his Earthshaker, and Zoe really likes his Luna, too. So this matchup is actually fairly close. I did put my rares on this matchup. It is 63% IG, 37% TongFu, but IG recently lost to LGDN, and TongFu has been looking pretty strong lately, so this could go either way. I say it's probably closer to like 55-45 in favor of IG.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good game, though, for sure. I expect it to go to 3.
TongFu is one of those teams. It's kind of a feast or famine team, and you and I have seen that even through the early stages of Season 4. When TongFu is on, they're as good as any team you're going to watch. They're as good as any Team DK, as any Invictus Gaming, as any other team you can imagine. They can play on that level. The problem is they do have some consistency issues from time to time. ZSMJ, we've seen him absolutely stand out from the support position since joining TongFu, and ZSMJ, a guy who really built his name and reputation in Chinese Dota as a carry, has been acclimating very, very well to that support position. But still, sometimes you just have some mental breakdowns. Sansheng in particular has a great Earthshaker, but again, a feast or famine kind of a player. He's either doing really well or tends to be doing really, really poorly. If TongFu can shore up their consistency issues, they're going to be great. But as of right now, a lot of it just comes down to which TongFu squad is going to show up. Is it going to be the squad that did so well at the International 3? Or is it going to be the squad that occasionally just has those mental hiccups? We'll have to wait and find out. Invictus Gaming tacks on the Night Stalker to go with their front 2 and the Clockwork and the Visage. Already very, I would say, wide open in how they want to run this. The Night Stalker, you and I have had some conversations about as we've seen him picked a little bit over the last week or so since 6.79 was introduced. And the jury's still kind of out for me in how I feel about him post-patch. I know you tend to feel like he's really maybe a little bit overrated post-patch by many.
I would say so. It's not like, oh my gosh, this Night Stalker is just crushing everybody. It's a little bit more difficult to tell from a spectator standpoint, too, because we have everyone's vision, right? But I mean, I played Dota enough to know how much of an effect Night Stalker has, although I don't think I've played 6.79 enough to see how much of night vision is affected. But for the most part, Night Stalker just seems slightly lackluster. He seems more like an I wouldn't say it's like useless as a mobile observer ward during nighttime, but he kind of just like walks around and like looks for opportunities for your team. But if you don't find any opportunities with your team, you just gain information and at the cost of having it underfarmed like a Night Stalker, and he's not that useful without items. So, and he's really difficult to farm with too, and you're kind of forced to farm with him during the daytime. It's I don't know. It's just I don't really like the pace of the hero. I think it does fit some teams' play styles. I liked it much better when he was just solo mid, got 6 or 7, boom, nighttime, kill, 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 and then get like an armlet during the day and then kill again next nighttime. That was the Night Stalker that I know more, but now 6.79 Night has changed. It's a little bit too difficult to tell how much of an impact this hero has. It reminds me of Abaddon at 6.78.
Venomancer going to be the pickup number 4 for TongFu. Sticking with the Night Stalker, though, and I think you bring up an excellent point. So far as the changes to the hero himself, I mean, we could debate that back and forth, whether or not that's going to be figured out, if there's something to that we're not all seeing yet. But the day-night cycle being shortened to 4 minutes per cycle, that I think that really has thrown teams who are used to having that rhythm with a Night Stalker. Like you said, I mean, before it was pretty straightforward. You send him mid, you try to get some farm, you do your best not to give up a death or not to get ganked. Do your best to maybe pull off a gank with the Void and the Silence if you want to skill that early on. And then as soon as the first night rolls around, usually you're going to have a bottle, maybe some phase, something like that. And you can bounce from lane to lane and dive towers and so on and so forth. But with the first night coming so early at 4 minutes, most Night Stalkers that we've seen run this hero do not leave lane until the second night. They will hang in lane until the second day comes, or if they do leave, it's only briefly to maybe take one shot at a dive somewhere, then they come right back to mid to continue farming. So a good point I think you bring up, that a lot of teams that run the hero are still trying to figure out the rhythm and the timing that comes down with how to maximize his potential early on. So Invictus adds the Spectre to the lineup as well. And when I see a Night Stalker, a Visage, and a Clockwork, I mean, those 3 heroes are innately aggressive by nature. That's just kind of how they function. I mean, yes, you can play Visage defensively, and Clockwork obviously can be defensive with his cogs. But generally speaking, you're not going to draft those 3 heroes for them to sit back under the tower. You want to get out and do things with them. And seeing the Spectre pick up, it reminds me of what we see Na'Vi do all the time. And not just Na'Vi, there are other teams who do it. But Na'Vi's approach to it really is top level. Well, they'll pick an aggressive lineup, then pick a Spectre who needs to be farming most of the game, but they'll try to get her ahead by allowing her to reality in off of Haunt. And seal up kills, basically. Try to isolate heroes. Let her be part of dives and early team fights just by showing up, maxing Spectral Dagger, and then running away to go back and farm again. And it really can be effective when it's executed properly.
I agree with you there. Looking at IG's lineup, I think their lineup's a little bit more well-rounded. Like Clockwork is a very good pick versus Earthshaker. I think it's a very smart first pick. Visage just flexible in most situations. And then we see like the counter Luna pick. Luna is very good versus Visage. Those glaives bouncing off the familiars makes you want to use their stun very, very early or just take them out of the fight. And then we see like Night Stalker to like try and counter Night Vision too from Luna. There's like a lot of back and forth draft from these 2 teams. And this is like a very specific draft for the other, like against the other team's lineup, as opposed to, hey, let's just pick 5 heroes that we know work out really well together and just roll with it. It's a very give and take sort of strategy. TongFu going with the last pick, Bounty Hunter. That's pretty interesting. I kind of expected them either they're going to like go all out with the ganks or all out with just like 4 protect 1 on the Luna, and it's kind of like somewhere in between. It's not super early game, but it's like a mid game oriented. IG kind of has a strange lineup in that they have like you talked about Clockwork, Visage, and Night Stalker being aggressive and very early in the early game, and then we have the Spectre too. So I think the Spectre is not bad if you can participate in a lot of kills. The problem is if she haunts in and she dies, which may happen because Echo Slam hits off illusions now, and then if you run into an Eclipse, you're going to die too, and they have a lot of spell damage on their team. So I am a little bit worried for how, but I think I'm a bigger fan of IG's lineup than TongFu's this game.
Yeah, TongFu's, the issue I see with it right off the bat is they have some pretty decent single target initiation, or if you're really, really good, maybe you can get a couple of targets with, say, a Telekinesis that manages a stun off of it, or more importantly, Venomous Gale, if you're able to catch 1 or 2 with that. But something worth mentioning, San Sheng has been playing the Earthshaker exclusively, at least here in the D2L, for TongFu. This time, though, they have ZSMJ handling the Earthshaker, and I'll touch on that in a minute as we see a Fissure going to catch out Banana. He's down to half health, and he's going to be caught. Slowed down by the Gale and First Blood. That simple. San Sheng able to tack on a First Blood, and TongFu off to a very early start. Could not ask for a better start for this lineup.
Yeah, that is very, very good for them. And yeah, what is Banana going to do now? He has his reserve rewards, and that's just good play by TongFu right there.
But
Very good play. What are these wards? What? It's like what? Celestial Observatory. When did this come out?
Oh, that's been in the shop. 6.79 it went in.
Looks like a rook from chess with an eyeball on top.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like him either.
Faith is in a lot of trouble too.
Yep,
Faith.
Faith.
The long range fissure.
And there's the telekinesis. Zoe's right behind him. He's gonna use the grave chill. Is it enough? It might be. He's gonna be able to salve up. Zoe's right on his tail.
Yeah, Zoe's super fast though. They have a fissure coming out from ZSMJ in about maybe 5 seconds too.
Here we go.
For his clarity.
He's up to 3/4 health, but he is going to make it back to safety and hook up with Hal. So already a lot of action early on, and ZSMJ ready to pop another fissure. Looks like he was waiting for it, and there it is. Another one going to block him in, and Faith ends up dropping as well. The server's acting up a little bit. There's actually a bit of a delay in terms of the animation for some of these spells, so hopefully that won't continue. But just like that, TongFu, a lineup that when you look at it, you knew they were going to want to do something with that bounty hunter, but hell, he's not even close to 6. He's still level 1, and they've already tacked on 2 kills to their lead. Great play so far from TongFu.
It's too predictable. This is one reason why I don't like a Spectre pick, and I especially don't like a Spectre 4th pick, because, okay, we're going to do a safe lane either dual or triple lane with Spectre. Very, very predictable, and now TongFu is able to counter with heavy, heavy aggression, because Lich doesn't do anything at level 1. He denies you experience, but if you're going to get a kill without any experience at all, it doesn't matter. So TongFu is very, very well prepared for this early game. I thought that Sangshan wasn't able to get that telekinesis off, that nerf. 4-second nerf to telekinesis being a little bit too much, but good play by ZSMJ on a shaker. I'm surprised that he's playing instead of Sansheng.
Yeah, then I was actually going to touch on that before we saw that first kill happen. ZSMJ, and this isn't a knock against Sansheng. It's just since ZSMJ has really adjusted to his role as a support hero, there's going to be another fissure thrown from long distance. Sansheng comes out the counter ward a little bit, but we see Banana rotating over as well. At some point, TongFu will allow me to make my point. Sansheng on the shaker, we've seen him be really good and really bad. He's really, again, consistency problems are what plagues him. He's a phenomenal player, but he does need to shore up some of his consistency issues. ZSMJ, since he's really adjusted to this support role, he's really come into his own. We saw him play an immaculate Windrunner a week or two ago. And I think they've got ZSMJ on that shaker because that shaker is their initiation. Whenever you look at their ability to take fights, they are all in on the shaker being able to lead off a fight. I mean, yes, they have Venomous Scale, Poison Nova, and all that, but hey, those are abilities you usually want to throw out when a team's either running away from you or whenever a fight's already engaged and you can prioritize targets. We're actually going to see XTT end up dying solo against a Clockwork. He got cogged in right underneath the tower, so why finally gets IG on the board?
Yeah, that definitely should not happen. That's just careless play by the Bounty Hunter. I mean, he doesn't even have Sentries or Dust. There's no way that Bounty Hunter should die. Regardless, TongFu still pretty good lead in this game right now. Hao is not hurting too bad on last sets. He's 9-1 with that early Poor Man Shield. Actually going for early boots of speed. I think he needs a Magic Stick in this lane, but I think that, Zoe actually might die right now.
Him taking a lot of damage. Doesn't have a Spectral Dagger, though. Can they pursue him out? One more auto attack. He's going to salve up, and Hao has to turn around.
No points in Desolate. If he had 1 point in Desolate right there, he would have killed him.
Yep.
But instead going for the... I kind of prefer the 1-1-1 build. I think is better at level 3, but it still forces a salve out of Zoe.
There's a failed gank in mid as well. TongFu trying to make something happen against Ferrari. Ferrari back on the Night Stalker. We saw him handling the hero not too long ago. I can't remember when it was, but I know I've seen him play it in D2L Season 4. I'm almost positive. A little bizarre that XTT would give up that death solo to the Clockwork. YYF, though, I mean, let's be honest. YYF, since...
Wow, he just used a dust for absolutely no reason.
Just wants to keep tabs on him, man. Just wants to keep tabs on him. Not a problem. But YYF...
Yeah, I think he meant to use a Tango or something.
Yep. YYF has played really, really well so far throughout D2L Season 4. And Sansheng's going to spot himself out a haste rune. This
is really important for them. They need to keep Ferrari in check, and they can do that by preventing him from getting the runes. So this is the first step. Getting the 4-minute rune, making sure he doesn't get it. And they also... they might actually go for him right now. That is some ballsy play.
Yep, they're gonna go for it. Sansheng's right behind him. There's going to be the telekinesis to bring him back. They actually threw him to the side now to get him out of the side of tower range. Do they have the damage? Mu going to pursue him out. Damage over time. Nope, he's able to bottle up and salve up a little bit. Actually ate the Fade Bolt there. And now Mu continuing to bounce back and forth. Ferrari will end up slowed down and will end up dropping. So TongFu.
Nice play by Mu there.
Yeah, really Well executed. Again, the servers seem to be acting up. And to be honest, I wouldn't surprise me if the players were having some issues too. We've seen some bizarre things happen already, especially with XTT dying. So maybe the ping's not a good day for the Chinese Perfect World servers.
This is the same build that we saw Xiao 8 go to, the 2-1-3, skipping Nova at level 6. So this seems to be the new standard build, which before it used to be 1 point in Gale, 1 point in Sting, and then Max Plague Wards. Right now with a Venomous Gale nerf at level 1. Ooh, how's
good fissure. And can XTT catch him? There's the Shuriken toss, not enough. He's able to use his wand charges. Zoe trying to dive it, ends up dying before he can get off the Lucent Beam. Spectral Dagger out on ZSMJ. Ferrari's there to pursue him out. Way greedy coming out from TongFu. And just like that, they fed back their lead that they had generated from very good early play. And this is not a position you want to be in with a Bounty Hunter lineup. Bounty is not a hero who likes to trade and get nothing out of it, especially when he's a fresh level 6 and just bounced out of lane, and especially...
Oh, chicken?
Yeah, let's see. Nope, and XTT will be voided out. He doesn't have enough mana for Shadow Walk, but Mu there, along with San Shing, helps scare Ferrari away. But very, very bad trade for them. Losing Zoe in the process, especially.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Here we go. They're going to have a fight. Break out on the steps. Nice fissure caught too. Banana will end up dropping. There's a dust that goes off. Ferrari will be able to clean one up. Just heard a clockwork hook come out somewhere. Going to guess it was behind the fight, and it was. They're able to clean up the SMJ and San Shing. Now Mu's in trouble. He's going to be bursted down, and just like that, it's a 4-for-1 trade. A triple kill going the way of Hao. And the only one still standing is Zoe, who is just trying to make up the deficit he dug himself by trying to dive the tier 1. And IG, yeah, I mean, we knew their lineup could do this, and they're just executing it as well as you could possibly ask.
They're just playing way too aggressively during nighttime, and the one death by Bounty Hunter on bottom cost him a lot too. If he was one more level there, they could have just killed the Spectre if he just had a little bit more damage, one more level on Shuriken, one more level in pretty much anything, and he would have gotten the kill on that. And then Luna wouldn't have been over here. She would have been like level 6 by now. She's about to hit level 6, and then they wouldn't have played so aggressive. I don't know why they're all up over here though. Like it's nighttime. You're supposed to be scared, and they are not scared at all. And maybe if you have Eclipse, you can like bait them into a really bad position, just telekinesing him into an Eclipse or something like that. But right now, they're just not strong enough to take a fight on like that unless they're in a defensive position. They need to try to take fights around here, or they just need to be able to kill people very, very fast like they're trying to do on top. They have the ward up here, though. IG has much better vision than TongFu right now.
Yep, you can see, as you mentioned, the lane ward there from IG keeping in tabs on things. ZSMJ with a full mana pool will be able to get off at least one good fissure if he wants to throw it out. In the meantime, Zoe does rejoin the lane. We see Ferrari continuing to bounce around. They're actually going to go ahead and TP one up. That's going to be YYF. He's going to go looking for a hook. San Shing just on the other side of the woods here. And this could be bad if Zoe... Oh, there it is. Caught out. He's going to be cogged in. Bursted down to half already. There's the soul assumption as well. Fissure interrupts things, but not enough to keep him alive. San Shing and ZSMJ can do nothing but fall back. Ferrari did make his way up to top, but honestly wasn't even needed. Just another easy kill going the way of IG. That's 2 deaths on Zoe already. Really unfortunate turn of events for TongFu.
Yeah, XTT has just been pretty much a non-factor to this game. He's 0-2-1 and level 7. Compare this to YYF. He was a solo offlane clockwork 3-0-0 level 9. Highest level in the game right now. So there's a big difference in skill between these two players. And one death, it might not seem like that much, but it's causing a lot of ripple effect as of this point. And there we go. First minus of the game.
Yep. First, probably not going to be the last. Big surprise. And hopefully defend.
Drop a Sentry Ward too. XCT.
Yep, and now he's going to know it too. Creep saw him, so he knows there's vision of him there. That's actually kind of a lucky break for XTT. If he had decided to move out, he could have very easily died. But that one little ranged creep, giving up the secret, letting him know that he can't just hang out there safely. In the meantime, Mu showing off why Veno mid is becoming a bit of a trend. He can just push Saddam hard all by himself. The ward's so good whenever you max it. Putting 3 points into Gale, 1 in the Poison Sting, and maxing ward after that. And IG, actually, Ferrari just gets a kill in mid. And, okay, just like that, Venomancer's gone. And really, at this point, TongFu is just kind of coming apart. They have
top lane, though.
And here we go. They're going to grab one. There's the Eclipse popped out. They do manage to get the kill on the Visage. And didn't see if it was a track, going to imagine that it was. In the meantime,
They did not need the Eclipse there, though.
Yeah.
It was kind of a waste of a skill, but I think he's expected that one more was there. But YYF had already TP mid and hookshot Moo. And Moo, we haven't really talked too much about him. He's just trying to push. I'm surprised he didn't buy his Force Staff right before he died. He had enough gold for it.
yep, going to go ahead and grab it up now. The Familiar's taking a look at TongFu at top, and they will go ahead and get a stun off on Zoe and buys time for the ulti to go off. That's going to be able to bounce a little bit, gets a little bit of damage done. Moo counter initiates. Now Banana in some trouble. XTT right behind him after getting the track off. The Gale will seal his fate, and that's going to be a nice track kill going to TongFu. They're going to need a few more of those to get themselves back on track, but it's certainly a nice start.
Yeah, and ZSMJ level 3 on Shaker. They're falling far behind on levels right now, looking at experience graph. About 6,500, 7,000 experience in favor of IG right now. And they do need to pick up more track kills. He has an invisibility, but I mean, no one's really scared of a level 3 invisible Shaker. Force Staff already paying off dividends, saving Luna right there. I don't. YYF though. It's just what I mean. This guy is just on a tear though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's level 11 right now. Level 11 Clockwork. He is 4 levels higher. 4 levels higher than the Luna at this point. He's 3 levels higher than the Night Stalker. That's how unbelievably out of control this Clockwork happens to be. Sitting at 4-0, and YYF really just breaking the game for TongFu's lineup and allowing IG to do what we knew they were going to want to do. Just play this as aggressive as they can. They're not taking reckless fights. They're just making sure that every opportunity they're landing a punch.
Yeah, IG's playing really well right now, and Hao is getting the farm that he needs. That's probably the most important part. And TongFu is like busy trying to stay up here. I don't really know why. They really want to get the tower, but it's pretty difficult against her lineup, and they don't really have that great of a push because Luna is under farm and she's actually not there right now. We actually might see her get dove on bottom very, very soon. She doesn't have Eclipse up for another 30 seconds. There's a first harass coming out, and she, one more Nova, she's going to be in kill range.
Midas out on the Clockwork, so second Midas makes its appearance, and we'll see if there's going to be multiple more. In the meantime, Hal and Banana hanging out down here. As you can see, Zoe, as you said, playing very, very safely. YYF has moved back towards top. And this is something that we've seen TongFu do before, Merlini, and we both were in agreement. When they do this, they do themselves such a disservice. They kind of get fixated on one target, like we just saw them get fixated on that tier 1 top. And they end up just kind of grouping and hanging and not accomplishing a whole lot. So that's a lot of missed out experience. And now they're going to try to make up for it with a smoke gank. So hopefully this will work for them. If it doesn't, this is just more time wasted.
They will get this tower at least, though. Oh, maybe not. They're looking for YYF. This would be a big kill for them, though.
YYF caught out telekinesis and the whole kitchen sink thrown out. They will be able to get the tower. He is going to go ahead and try to hook away, and he does manage to make it away. Banana right there. So diving completely out of control. And I'm going to go ahead and take a stab and say the servers might be acting up because I know I'm getting a ton of issues. And that's just bizarre to see Zoe dive like that twice. Sansheng will end up cleaned up. There's a telekinesis to try and buy some time. Stuns out Ferrari. Moo, though, likely to be tracked down by the Visage Familiars and will be. So Visage will pick this up, if not Ferrari, one of the two. Oh, actually, never mind. Showing off the Force Staff. Got himself down the ridge into safety just in time. But yeah, seeing Zoe do that again, I'm never one to point at servers, but I know that I'm seeing some very.
Dive. He like went over here and just got owned by the Lich and the Spectre. I don't exactly know what he was doing there.
Yeah.
Also, that was a very poorly executed gank. Like, they had the Clockwork, like, right here. Here's the fissure, this line over here. Clockwork's, like, at this spot, and they couldn't really, like, reach him. He could have just telekinesis and dragged him to the other side of the creeps, or other side of the fissure, and they could have all killed him over there, and then blocked his hook shot to his team. But they did not execute that properly. He gets away, and they just pick up a couple kills in the process. IG's getting further and further ahead.
Yep, TongFu knows it too.
And Sunshine still not 6 too. They really need 6.
Yep, TongFu knows it. This is their second smoke gank. It's desperation time, basically. They know that if they don't get things back on track soon, they're literally just going to be leveled into obscurity. They're going to be so underleveled they can't fight anyone. And we saw they couldn't kill YYF there. They just lacked the damage. Now YYF wisely pulling back here. Looks like, yep, IG knows what's up. 5 missing, no reason in the world to play aggressive. They're going to double back and try to take this tower. It's a 216 HP, so they should be able to take it pretty quickly. But as of right now, that's not a problem for IG. Again, the gold lead is not that insurmountable. It's right in the range of plus 4,000 in favor of IG. But the experience has now hit 5 digits. 10,000 experience separating these teams. 3 of the top 4 levels all belonging to IG. And level 4 and level 5 on San Sheng and ZSMJ respectively. You just really can't draft a Rubik and a Shaker and have them this slow to 6.
And
it's just not going to work out. Yeah, Bounty, another good example.
And this is with them getting early first blood and an early kill on Visage too. So imagine, like, pretty much just take away those 2 kills, but because that was like before like the creeps actually started and the laning phase actually started, and you're looking like a 12-4 deficit for TongFu, and TongFu doesn't have the better late game. Like, Spectre has a Midas, he has 2,900 gold right now, 3,000 actually, and he just Midas, so 3,200, and he's going to have his Radiance soon, which is totally what I expect him to be getting with this heap of gold. TongFu, meanwhile, just sitting as 5. Luna is number 4 on last hits, even out CS by the Clockwork, not even Ogre Club completed for her BKB. So once IG, if Hao gets his Radiance before Luna gets his BKB, they're going to be in a world of trouble, and I don't really see how they're going to farm with that BKB fast enough.
Here we go. They move on to the tier 1. There will be maybe a reaction. Looks like TongFu sniffs this out. They know that a solo Spectre is not going to overextend that much unless she's got a lot of backup hanging out in the jungle, so they don't respond whatsoever. Instead, just taking farm where they can get it. The Luna, as you mentioned, Zoe, really in bad shape farm-wise. We take a look at the net worth. We can see Spectre and Clock both are ahead of the Luna, as is the Night Stalker and the Venomancer from his own team. So at this point, Zoe really has a lot of work to do if he wants to feel at all relevant in terms of damage right now. Now we're going to have a hook that lands in. There's the Han as well as the Gale. Fissure goes off as well. XTT trying to pursue out Moo. And looks like that's just going to be totally disjointed as both teams just separate.
They got so lucky there. IG tried to initiate with a hook shot over here. XTT was standing here in Viz, and he had a dust on him. I'm actually surprised that he didn't dust, but he expected to go all the way over here, got caught right here, and they were able to run away during the Han. So TongFu catching quite a break there.
IG doubling back around. They will go ahead and send Ferrari back out. He's going to find an Invis rune, very dangerous rune for a Night Stalker to have. So, I mean, we're at 17 minutes in. There's been some action here and there. But really, it feels like IG is completely just in control of this game, not just in terms of metrics and all that fun stuff. I mean, obviously, TongFu's only lost 1 tower. So, I mean, even...
And the Midas metric.
Yeah, well, obviously. And that's the only metric that really matters, as we have seen proven out. But IG just feels like they're in a position to set the tone of this game and set the pace of this game for a long time. Every time TongFu has tried to come out and make something happen, it's kind of blown up in their face.
Banana might get caught out right here, though.
Eating a lot of damage. XDT, yep, here we go. There's a telekinesis and a Fissure to follow it up. There's some cogs to go off. YYF trapped inside. Moo will be able to use wand charges, but Ferrari will be able to track him down. No, he actually got off the Poison Nova. Now the Eclipse forcing Ferrari back. He'll actually be a return kill. Very high priority kill for them to have gotten. The Venomancer did end up dying. So they end up going 1 for 1, but that's going to be a 1 for 1 I think they're willing to take as the Night Stalker.
That's a Radiance on Spectre, too. This is, like, 1 for 1's okay, but when you're fighting 5 on 4 and you let Spectre free farm, this is the trade-off, and they're going to pay for it very, very soon. Radiance is coming out on Chicken, and they're trying to gank him, but it's too late. He has his Radiance.
Al picking up the big item. There it is. All done now.
Radiant's top tower
and really, I mean, Luna is not far from her BKB. She needs about 700. Needs about 2,000 gold, give or take. She's got the Ogre Club and a little over halfway to the Mithril Hammer, so she can get it up at a decent time. I just wonder if IG hasn't already just dug the grave. I mean, again, the gold is roughly 1 big item ahead for them, plus 4,000 across the board. But the levels are just beginning to show themselves. IG just feels very tanky and innately more survivable and innately more lethal just because their heroes have more abilities or have better abilities, to say nothing of just flat-out stack game being enough to keep them alive.
The XP difference is 12,000 right now. It's not like they really care about like Poison Nova right now. Venomancer is still only level 10. Like, who's going to solo die to the Bounty Hunter at this point? Pretty much nobody. This is the point where Bounty Hunter is supposed to be like making the support feel really, really scared, and Venomancer is supposed to be devastating in team fights. But TongFu just had too bad of an early game to rely on either of those, and now they're just kind of try to 5-man, but they can't really put out any pressure because IG is just like, hey, well, if you want to play the farm game, we have our Midases, we have Spectre, we don't really care at all. And they can get kills here and there. There's 4-man smoking, How will haunt in, but this could be a very, very devastating fight for TongFu right now. IG is coming up the hill.
Oh, there's a hook on a Sansheng. Sansheng will get the telekinesis off. There's a void to clean it up, though. Now XTT on the run. Track out on the clock. And the Haunt's in. Wow, they're going to go on XTT. Desolate doing good damage. The Radiance Burn might be enough to kill him if he hangs around too long. Nope. They managed to get him after the dust. Now Moo eating the Soul Assumption. Has him down to half health. Ferrari will be interrupted by the Fissure. The spam damage coming out of IG is just through the roof. And you know, that's something we didn't even really talk about. It's just how spam heavy this team is. We'll touch on that in just a moment. But for now, yep, they're going to go ahead and track down the Night Stalker. They might end up losing a lot for it, though. No, they're actually going to grab the Lich. YYF didn't go in there, and Banana trying to fall back. In the meantime, they managed to track down the Luna, losing Zoe yet again. And IG, even though they lost a couple of their own, definitely coming out ahead in that exchange one more time. And yeah, I can't even get the Visage Familiar. So Zoe at this point just feels anemic. He is hemorrhaging any kind of relevance in this game right now. Just flat out hemorrhaging.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like on tilt or something, but like after that first death up here, he just like played way too aggressively and just dying and that's not something that we see out of Zoe very often. He's usually very safe, very stable, very consistent, and it's strange that he is dying too many times this game. And Spectre is not dying. That's a really big deal for TongFu. He's 3-0 and 10 right now, and his farm is just going through the roof right now. He has his power chest right now, maybe a drums completed very shortly. His net worth is a full like almost double. Luna's pretty close to being double. It's like 1,000 gold from being double.
Yep.
And that's just atrocious for Luna. She is just going to just keep dying and dying and dying and dying. She'll get her BKB, but at that point it's going to be too late. She just needs 700 gold right now for it.
We see a bit of the gathering the minds here in mid. Do they have a smoke? They do. If they want to spend it, XTT will go ahead and lead things off. TongFu. Looks like they wanted to crest it. XTT's going to walk right up on a ward if he's not very careful. A sentry ward, in fact. And just like that, IG, taking the hint, decides to go ahead and back out. Zoe is continuing to find a little bit of farm, though. He has his Mithril Hammer up, only about 500 gold out. Finishing the BKB, maybe that'll make things a bit of a different story, but TongFu going to have to play their way back in, and they know it as they go ahead and decide to spend yet another smoke, just trying to find anything that will allow them to turn this game back in their favor.
I forgot which team we're talking about. I think it was LGD China, but IG is very similar in the fact that they can just pick and choose fights whenever they want to. It looks like Clockwork may get picked off for a 4-man smoke game.
Yep. Telekinesis and the Fissure to follow up the Gale. Got the cogs down, but didn't end up dropping. In the meantime, you can see that IG split pushing it out, and it looks like TongFu happy to take this trade. Just want to trade a tier 2 for a tier 2.
Yep, but they can't stay too long though, because if Spectre just haunts on them while they retreat, they're just going to be in a world of pain. So they're already backing off. This T2 is taking a lot of damage. Faith, this is somewhat vulnerable right now, but even he has 1,200 HP with 3 earn charges and a point booster, so he's really stacked as a support.
Here we go. TP's coming in as the dive is on. We saw Ferrari try to take a shot at Zoe. Zoe able to make it back to safety. Banana going to go ahead and retreat with him, as is Faith. So they forced a big reaction. In the meantime, guess who continues to farm? How? Up to 2,100 gold already. He's going to be able to tank up soon, and there literally will be nothing TongFu can do.
Yeah, he's just a time bomb waiting. I mean, he's kind of like already there, though. His net worth 11,000 and steadily climbing. Midas, I mean, it didn't really matter if he got Midas or not. It would have made his radiance a little bit earlier. It gives him a lot of levels though, which Spectre actually really needs. So he needs stats to help with dispersion, so he can tank a little bit more. And he needs all his skills. All his skills are very, very important in the mid game. Ferrari, meanwhile, just going the BKB build. And I think that Ferrari has been playing really well. I think the MVP though right now is probably YYF. He
totally
just
agree.
Like completely carried them in the early to mid game and just completely swung the game around, negated any early game advantage that TongFu had with his ninja clockwork hooks and just fantastic solo play as well as teamwork play. And it's just really incredible how well he played in that off lane. Moo has a gem. They're trying to get some vision down right now. BKB is up on Luna, so that is one saving grace for them. Gold graph, 7,500. That's not as bad as I expected in favor of IG, but IG have actually only taken out 2 towers now compared to the 3 from TongFu, and IG, if they take on the mid T1, they're very, very close to being able to do Roshan. Or they might just do it right now.
Yeah, when you take a look at, I mean, and that's the thing, though, is IG hasn't even really built their lead based on gold. I mean, the gold lead just kind of is commensurate with how well they've played. But a lot of it's just been more efficiency. This is what this Invictus Gaming squad will do to you. Why, if you get a lead or you feel behind, you have got to capitalize on that lead or mitigate that loss as quickly as you can. Otherwise, IG simply will just outgrind you mechanically. We've already seen them open up quite a deep chasm.
TongFu's desperate, though. They're desperate to win a fight right now, and they're, like, scrambling to force the issue, but it's, like, not a good position. Wow, those Visage Familiars just totally blocked that hook shot.
Yep, would have been a good one, too. TongFu was a little spread out as they retreated, now running as a five-man pack. They're going to be able to go ahead and TP out, and Zoe plenty happy to have a little bit more time to farm.
This is a really good time for the Roshan. While Luna just TP to the left side, it's going to take her a pretty long time to walk. The only problem, the Spectre is actually not a very good Roshan hero, and they don't have a medallion. If they had like anyone with lifesteal or something like that, they would be able to do it, but looks like it's not going to happen.
A little bit of movement from TongFu, continuing to poke their nose around. YYF will not be caught by the Gale. So no follow-up there. ZSMJ and XTT kind of hanging together now. XTT under cover of Shadow Walk. I'm a little surprised that IG isn't actually taking the fight to TongFu a little bit more than they are already. I mean, they have been able to set the pace.
There's no risk in they don't have to take any risks right now because Spectre's just so far ahead of the Luna, and even if they exchange free farm, he's just going to farm so much faster.
And here we go. Moo caught out down to half health. We'll be able to haunt away, though. They had to expect that was coming. And we're going to have Zoe caught with a hook from YYF. In the meantime, the fight plays out in mid. They end up bringing down the Spectre, but it cost them a Rubik. Moon next on the list. Did he manage to get Zoe? He didn't. Zoe's still up and running. Moon not likely to be as lucky. And the Lich ult will get a couple of bounces off. Zoe's there with his BKB, though. Now Ferrari going to turn and go right to work. However, he's got help around. Ferrari throws out the Void. They do manage to bring Zoe down again. However, as the SMJ spins the Echo Slam just to get the kill on the Night Stalker. Banana right on his tail. Visage Familiar is blocking his path, or trying to block his path, but ZSMJ able to nonetheless escape. 12-21, IG the reverse of TongFu, but the gold and the experience, even with a little bit of a win there, arguably going to TongFu, it just still continues to feel and play out of hand.
That was a decent play by Luna right there. So what actually happened was they went on Spectre, he haunted, and he was looking to Reality over here, and Luna was right there, but he actually eclipsed like right as the haunt happened. I think if he just like right clicks and loosen beams and then actually waits for the haunt, or for the Reality rather, then he can just kill him like that. But he actually uses the eclipse right there. If he had it for the mid fight when they were diving to the T1 with his BKB up, it would have inflicted a lot more damage there. So I can definitely see what Zoe was trying to do. He didn't want Spectre to escape, especially with Clockwork there. If he actually Reality there, then it would have probably just been a 1-4-0 in favor of IG. So that fight could have been completely different, just depending on how would have been able to Reality or not. And I don't think they had enough stun lock. He might have been stun lock when he was trying, but that haunt illusion died very, very quickly.
Once again, TongFu showing a little bit of desperation, letting XTT lead them around in the jungle for a bit, just looking to find any target they can. Coming up empty-handed, though, Zoe on the other side is going to continue to farm this out. But IG at this point, like you said, there's really not a whole lot of risk in them forcing the enemy to 5-man, because if they 5-man, that lets IG 5-man. They're going to be quite happy to go ahead.
IG doesn't have to 5-man, though. They can just 4-man with Spectre, and this is like one of the strengths of Spectre. She can always just farm off alone if you know where the other team is, and you're just going to lose out in the farm war. And XP and Goldgraph just just like constantly dipping in IG's favor. They're getting kills on Hal, but Luna dies at the same time, and they're 5-manning, but Hal's still farming. So they're like trying to do something about it, but there's not really that much they can do.
And really at this point, both teams just kind of dancing around a bit. TongFu going to smoke one more time and try to move to mid. They might get another pick, and it could be YYF again. YYF has been picked a time or two from some well-wrought ganks, but not going to be the case this time as they pull back and decide they're going to trade a tier 1 for a tier 2. The tier 2 top down to about half health. The tier 1 mid does end up dropping in the meantime. Doesn't look like they're really up. Never mind. Here they come. There's the haunt, and we're going to have the fissure go off. In comes YYF. Trying to make something happen behind. Faye's going to be able to clean up the Rubik. In the meantime, BKBs are up, and Zoe just going to go ahead and TP away off of it.
missed hook shot. If he had hit that hook shot on the BKB hero, they get the Luna. That would have been a really big kill. So a lot of these blocks, or a lot of these hook shots are getting blocked. I think I've seen like 3 thus far. So YYF having a really fantastic early game, but just not connecting on some of these hook shots. Luckily, it's not that big of a deal for them since they're really far ahead. But if TongFu gets a Roshan, then maybe they can turn things around. But they have Visage versus Scout. They have Clockwork Rocket too. There's a lot of things they can do to prevent them from Roshing. And TongFu is not really in a good position to do so at all. But Mu is around the pit right now trying to deal wards. So that is like a potential way that they can come back right now if IG gets very lackadaisical about scouting out that Roshan.
Hey, man. D-warding serious business. You D-ward 9 wards, that's a set of brown boots. Don't anyone tell you otherwise. But,
well, yeah, Ferrari also has his Vlads too, so, like, my Spectre is just really, really stacked. And he went BKB too, which is very uncommon for Spectre, just because they, like, kind of want to tank damage, especially versus only 1 BKB on the side of Luna. I don't actually think is the best choice here. Just go straight heart, and then you'll just destroy.
Take a look at Ferrari. He has added some lifesteal to his inventory with that Vlad's pickup
Shot
for
in
BKB.
mid.
And here we go. Mid will connect. Sansheng able to get himself out. And the Gale counters YYF. He's going to BKB through it as best he can. Gale, of course, the slow effect not removed by BKB. Does remove track, though, as he was tracked in the process. But IG kind of leaving the door open for TongFu right now. I mean, again, it's not the widest crack, but perhaps a little sliver. And that's something that they're going to want to handle sooner rather than later. Make sure that if they're going to beat TongFu, or excuse me, if they're going to beat IG, they need to beat TongFu. I had it right the first time. They're going to blow him out the door.
Yeah, very cold graph though. Midas is doing work now, and this is really where Midas shines, where there's not really that much happening for 20 minutes of the game after you get their Midas, and IG is really good at playing at that style, so I don't think it's a bad choice on them for either hero. I would probably prefer Clockwork to get an Ag Scepter instead of BKB, but BKB is really good versus Earthshaker, it's really good versus Venomancer, it's really good it's decent versus Luna too, so not that bad, and they are taking this Roshan out very, very fast, and this Frost Armor is doing work.
Frost Armor is, one of those underrated abilities with Lich, especially on a melee hero like a Spectre. Frost Armor just adds so damn much. Gives you a lot of bonus armor, takes it up to 9 if you manage to max it out, has the slow, the movement duration, or the movement slow, as well as the attack speed slow. It's just, one of those abilities that's so easy to fall asleep on. They do end up taking down the tier 2 top. Hang on, we're going to have Sansheng able to get away.
Misses another hook shot.
YYF was just money in the bank with those hooks early on, and seems like since then things have kind of been a little iffy. Again, I don't know for sure, but I know I'm continuing to have some server issues, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if some of these players were as well.
Yeah, it wasn't a high priority to kill, but YYF, he's missed out on, I'd say at least 3 kills right now because of the missed hook shots. They're still ahead, though, 22-12. Now TongFu, they absolutely cannot take a 5-on-5 fight right now. If they do so, Spectre will just Rambo in, die with Dispersion, and everyone will be too low to fight again, and then just haunt and kill everybody. So that's the easiest way to lose them right now. Is take a 5-on-5 outside of your base. Like if they take it anywhere on this side and on, it's just gonna be GG. So they have to just split push right now, kind of wait out the ages, get more farm up on Luna. So it's gonna be a pretty boring next 6 minutes unless IG really wants to press the issue. And I think that they definitely can. It's just that again, they don't really have to. IG has no pressure on them right now. They're just like, well, we can just farm. I'll just get Heart, Butterfly, Manta. He doesn't really need Diffusal right now. Heart, Butterfly, Manta on How, and then we win the game.
And that so far seems to be the plan. They really haven't done a whole lot except sit back and farm and use their hand to Midas. And really,
that's what you do when you get hand to Midas, apparently.
Yeah, that's the only way to play is get your hand to Midas, sit back and farm all game. But the Fusel Blade, now the pickup on the Spectres to show have the mana burn. There's going to be a Void on Namu, and the Gale does connect, but they manage to silence him out. Wow, Lich Ult going to be spent, and more than a little bit of a waste. There's a hook from YYF, finally connected on that one. That's going to get them a gem as well, if they happen to see it, and finally they do. So very high priority kill. He's down for 60 seconds now.
Yeah, that's a really big pick, and Moo's been playing pretty well. The thing is, it may seem risky for him to farm out alone, but they have to take a risk right now. If they don't take a risk, they're just going to get out farmed. And I honestly don't think that they took enough risk in like the 20 to 30 minute phase of the game, and they just like look at the graph, just constant out farm. And when you're 5-maning, that's the thing. Sometimes you just have to take the risk and think that IG's on the other side of the map, or you'll just get too far behind. Hook shot from YYF.
Hook on the Songsheng. Songsheng will be cleaned up. BKB up on Ferrari. He's going to dive this out. Silences ZSMJ, going right after him. XDT's being burned down by the Radiance. Cleaned up via the Gem Vision YYF gained by killing off the Venomancer before. And we could be approaching a GG here.
This should be GG. There's no way they can kill the Spectre twice. Like, I don't even know if they can kill him once with the BKB. So it's really, really difficult position for TongFu right now. They had to avoid fights for 6 minutes, and they could not do it. They couldn't even do it for like 2 minutes. Oh, they did it. They did it for about 2 minutes, I guess.
And Hal continuing to chop wood here on the tier 1 mid. I would be a little surprised if they decided to back. There's going to be a Gale on the YYF. Spectral Dagger thrown out, but yeah, they're just going to hang at least until this set of racks is down. They could probably take 2 pretty easily. There's going to be the Poison Nova going off, catching Hal, doing some decent damage, but they really just don't seem to care. Hal will go ahead and BKB, and it looks like they do just want to go ahead and potentially back. They're throwing out a spell or 2 on their way through, but yeah, they're going to go ahead and back and look to just reset, reload, and rearm.
Yeah, IG lost absolutely nothing in that fight. They didn't lose any heroes, and they didn't lose the Aegis. Looking at the Aegis, it despawns in about 2 minutes time. That is probably not enough time for them to be able to push out the lanes and force the fight. Maybe if actually Haunts up in 30, it's going to be really close, but still, no pressure on IG. They can just do whatever they want. They can farm. They can wait until next Roshan. They can push, like go heal and push right now. They can just gank if they want to with YIF. The game is just completely open to them.
20,000 gold is what separates these two teams right now, in excess of 25,000, nearing 30,000 experience. So, I mean, I've seen some comebacks and I've seen some throws in my day. You know, I do work for Evil Geniuses after all. But
some throws, that's an understatement, ASC.
That's right. But all the same, it's basically going to take a miracle for them to get back into this. I mean, the net worth for Spectre is 20,000, 14,000 for YYF, 13,000 for Zoe, who, after a pretty poor start, did manage to farm himself back into some kind of relevancy. But I mean, what's he gonna do? He's got his mask. He's got his Morbid Mask and his Eagle Song, and really just hoping for the best.
At some point, you just have to know that it's GG. If I'm captain of TongFu, like after this fight mid, and you lose at Rex, it's GG for me right there. And I mean, they're holding on, but like, how are they going to initiate? Like, Earthshaker does not have a blink. Like, they have BKBs for Venomancer. Like, Rubik does nothing right now. Bounty Hunter underfarmed. Like, they have just no win condition.
Good hook on the move. Trying to follow it up. The BKB is up. We're going to have Hal haunting in. The SMJ will be desolated down. There's going to be the Eclipse from Hal, but BKB's up just all over the place. Zoe will barely finish his Eclipse cycle. That should be GG with him down for 66 seconds. This will be, yep, there it is. And, you know, this is one of those games, to be honest, Merlini, from the word go, I mean, TongFu got a little bit of a lead early on, getting those early kills. But basically from the moment the laning phase got underway, IG had a lead, and never at any point did they really feel touchable at all.
Yeah, I think that YYF just really with that early game kill on Bounty Hunter and then rotating top and mid, and that one escape too. I think the one escape where they 4-minute smoke ganked him and then he got away and then they turned around and got a couple of kills. That was like a big turning point where IG felt really, really comfortable and just playing passively and farming and just really taking a 5-on-5 if they had to. But TongFu has to do a better job of just being in control of the game. They didn't force IG into any bad positions. They didn't make them make any mistakes. And with a lineup with like Bounty Hunter and Rubik and Vino and like some decent early game, they should be able to just take IG out of their comfort zone. But they got in their comfort zone. They got the amount of Midases that they wanted to, and it's just all downhill from there. They got BKBs up. Like TongFu without a farm Luna, what are they supposed to do versus BKBs? Absolutely nothing. And they just kind of steamrolled them. I think the game was pretty much over like 25 minutes in-ish, or when like Spectre got his radiance, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is just so bad for TongFu. But TongFu is trying to hang in there. They need better early game. I don't think the draft was bad either. So overextended a little bit, but very well played by IG. Looks like my rares are not in good shape right now.
And just want to point out, by the way, Spectre involved in 23 of the 29 kills IG accumulated. That's a big part of it too. I mean, only dying once and always being present to contribute in one way or another. Game 1 behind us. It took us 37 minutes and 31 seconds. The official game time. The final kill score was 12-29 as IG runs away with it and jumps out to a 1-0 lead. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, live here on the floor of our downtown San Francisco studio, joined, of course, by Ben Merlini Wu. Invictus Gaming, a front-runner, one of those teams, one of a handful of teams that many consider to be a favorite to come out of our Season 4 Eastern Division throughout the playoffs. Of course, 2 teams from both the East and the West will be qualifying to our grand finals in Las Vegas. Currently, LGD looking untouchable, sitting at a perfect 5-0. But IG certainly right there in the mix with the best of the rest, them and DK. TongFu in real danger now. And again, the problem TongFu is going to face is this is their 6th match. And even though they're currently sitting in within the playoff bubble, I should say, the problem that they have is that they have to. There are so many teams behind them that simply haven't played as many matches as they have. So this is their next to last match. If they lose this match, they're going to have 3 wins and 4 losses, or could potentially have 3 wins and 4 losses, I should say, by the time all is said and done, or even less if I'm not mistaken. I want to say they're sitting at 2-3, so they could actually fall to 2-4 if they manage to lose this series and fall out of contention, realistic playoff contention, and really risk not even making the playoffs, let alone qualifying into the top seed. So anyway, guys, game 1 again behind us, IG and TongFu. Game 2 going to be coming up next. Stick with us. We'll be right back here on the HyperX D2L.